So we are going to start next hormone and their hormone antagonist in the unit sex hormones, female reproductive system and male reproductive system. Their secretions are hormones such as progesterone, estrogen, and testosterone. So in this chapter, we will see natural female sex hormones, natural estrogen, synthetic estrogen, then natural progesterone, synthetic progesterone, then next male sex hormones, natural testosterone and synthetic testosterone. So by considering you know about female reproductive system as well as male reproductive system and their secretion and their parts. So let's see the next point in this chapter. In general introduction about reproductive system is the reproductive system seeks to ensure the survival of species. Sound is audible to all?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
The reproductive system seeks to ensure the survival of the species, and it is not for the life of about the animal, but for the perpetuation of the species. Generally, female reproductive system, they're having the hormonal secretion such as progesterone and estrogen, and male reproductive system, their secretion of hormone is testosterone. In which female reproductive system, there are different parts consist in the female reproductive system such as ovaries, cervix, vagina, uterus, and fallopian tubes. So fallopian tubes, there is pair of fallopian tubes along with the eggs to travel the ovaries to uterus. Uterus, it is an thick walled muscular organ. Then vagina, it is a channel that allow the sperm to reach into the uterus, and further uterus once baby to ready and get out. Then it helps to cervix, it allow the menstrual blood flow from the uterus into the vagina, and ovaries, a female reproductive system having the major organ is ovary. So this is about parts of female reproductive system. Sex hormones are the groups of hormones. They are responsible for controlling puberty. So secretion of reproductive system, female reproductive system or male reproductive system, the secretions are, that is the group of hormone. They are responsible for controlling the puberty, reproduction, birth, and lactation. The sex hormone disorder, also referred as to reproductive hormone disorder, means there is imbalance in between this hormonal secretion of female reproductive system and male reproductive system. Then it leads to sex hormone disorder. So the medical condition that affect the different glands and the organs of the body, they are responsible for the production of sex hormone. So excessive secretion or lack of secretion, it leads to disorder. It is either overproduction or underproduction, means excessive production or the less production of the hormone. It is responsible for sexual characteristic and the development. If there is less secretion of this hormone, that is underproduction of this hormone, then there is controlling of puberty, reproduction, birth control, lactation. In these conditions, problems are observed. So that's why there is need to proper or regular secretion of this hormone in female reproductive system and male reproductive system. The next point, female sex hormone, in which estrogen, first one, natural estrogen. So mainly female reproductive system, their secretions or the hormones such as estrogen and progesterone. So first one, natural estrogen. Screen is visible to all.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
ma'am.
The major
Yes, ma'am.
estrogen, it is produced by women are estradiol, estrone, estriol during the first part of menstrual cycle. Estrogen are produced in the ovarian follicle by theca cell. So estrogen, it is a female sex hormone, and natural estrogen, we are discussing about natural estrogen. So during the first part of the menstrual cycle, estrogen are produced in the ovarian follicle by theca cell. By which cell?
Theca cell.
Theca
Theca
cell.
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 You have already idea about ovarian follicle, ovary, cervix, uterus, fallopian tubes in first year human anatomy and physiology. Here, female reproductive system, male reproductive system, you are already studied. So ovarian follicles are the roughly spheroid cellular aggregation and set found into the ovaries. So ovarian follicle, it is a spheroid cellular aggregation set and it is found into the ovary. Ovaries, it is a major organ in female reproductive system. The next point, properties of natural estrogen. So properties of this hormone, in which first one, it is essential to stimulate the secondary sex character in the female. Then essential for growth and activity of mammary glands and endometrium. Here endometrium, what is mean by endometrium? Where it is located? Endometrium means where it is located. It is on a membrane. Okay, so this estrogen, natural estrogen hormone, it is essential for growth and activity of mammary glands and the endometrium. Here, endometrium, it is on a mucous membrane, and their lining of this mucous membrane in the uterus, and which is get thick, their thickness is get increases or it is become thickened during the menstrual cycle. While mammary gland, they are located on the breast and their function is production of the milk. The next point, it is essential to prepare endometrium for progesterone action. For the next hormone is progesterone. For the action of progesterone, this estrogen, natural estrogen, it is helps to or essential to prepare the endometrium. That is, natural estrogen helps to mucous membrane lining in the uterus, which makes the thicken during the progesterone action. Then next point, it is known to prepare the uterus for spermatozoa transport. So spermatozoal transport means transport of the sperm towards the ovulated eggs. For this process, natural estrogen is helpful. So it is known to prepare the uterus for spermatozoal transport, that is transport of the sperm towards the ovulated eggs. Then next, synthetic estrogen. Firstly, natural estrogen, and the second one is synthetic estrogens, means they are synthetically prepared, such as estradiol preparation, estrone preparation, or estriol medicines. So they are synthetically prepared. Natural estrogen means it is naturally synthesized in female reproductive system. So next one is synthetic estrogen. When synthetic estrogen is administered, it is released into the circulation and strongly binds to the protein and reaches to their site of action. So when synthetic estrogen containing medicaments administered, synthetic means they are synthetically, artificially prepared. So they are administered, they release into the circulation. After the administration, they release into the circulation and strongly binds to the protein and reaches at the site of action. Then that is organs like uterus, vagina, breasts, anterior pituitary glands, and hypothalamus. Where is location of hypothalamus? Hypothalamus, it is portion of hypothalamus, it is portion of okay, it is included in which system? CNS, CVS.
CNS.
CNS.
Okay, so it is portion of the brain. So this synthetic estrogen, after their administration, it released into the circulation, systemic circulation, that is into the blood, and strongly binds to the protein and then reaches to the site of action. That is, they strongly bind to the protein and reaches to their site of action. The site of action organs like uterus, vagina, breast, anterior pituitary glands, and hypothalamus. The next point, therapeutic applications of estrogen. Either it is synthetic estrogen or natural estrogen. So in the therapeutic application, estrogen, it is used in following conditions or in the following disorders. Roll number 25, are you present?
Yes, ma'am.
Read the therapeutic applications.
Therapeutic applications: menopausal syndrome, ovarian dysgenesis, primary amenorrhea, carcinoma of the prostate in male, to treat breast cancers in post-menopausal women, to treat functional uterine bleeding and endometriosis, to treat dysmenorrhea as a oral contraceptive with progesterone.
Okay, so next point is therapeutic applications of estrogen. So in which first one, menopausal syndrome. So menopausal syndromes means application of this estrogen in menopausal syndrome. What is mean by syndrome?
Group of symptoms.
Okay, a group of symptom. Menopausal syndrome means stop of menstrual cycle. Their syndromes. So in this disorder, menopausal syndrome disorder, this estrogen is therapeutically applicable. Menopause means stop of menstrual cycle. Then next, ovarian dysgenesis. So ovarian dysgenesis means ovarian, that is ovaries. It is part of female reproductive system. And dysgenesis means abnormal organ development. Means there is abnormal growth of organ development. In such a condition, estrogen, either it's synthetic estrogen or natural estrogens are given. Dysgenesis, it is an abnormal organ development during the embryonic growth and development. Means during the embryonic growth, during the pregnancy, there is growth of that child. It is growth of this organs of this child or baby is abnormal. So in such a condition, these natural or synthetic estrogens are therapeutically applicable. The next point is primary amenorrhea. So in this disorder, again, this hormone is applicable. So amenorrhea means there is absence of menstruation. So in primary amenorrhea, in their treatment, estrogen is applicable. The next one, carcinoma. Carcinoma, it is type of cancer. Do you know about carcinoma? माहिती आहे का कार्सिनोमा? Yes or no?
No, ma'am.
Do you know about any idea about cancer disorder? डिसऑर्डर्स माहिती नाही.
येस मॅम माहिती आहे कॅन्सर.
सेल इन्क्रीज होतात.
Unwanted growth of tissue or cell, abnormal cells either, or uncontrolled growth of tissue or cell, that is cancer. So carcinoma. Next one is, can anyone tell the types of cancer?
Carcinoma, sarcolemma.
12th मध्ये डिफरन्स होता sarcoma and lymphoma, I think. Yes or no? Tell me the names of organ they are undergoes this cancer. कोणत्या कोणत्या पार्ट्सला कॅन्सर होऊ शकतो माहिती आहे?
लंग कॅन्सर,
Mouth,
Stomach, mouth cancer,
skin cancer, brain cancer.
skin cancer.
Okay, skin cancer, mouth cancer, lungs cancer, pancreas, breast gland, prostate cancer. So these are also types of the major types of cancer such as carcinoma, sarcoma, melanoma, lymphoma, leukemia. It is also type of cancer. So in the carcinoma, in the carcinoma of prostate in the male. Carcinoma of prostate in the male. So carcinoma, it is a cancer which is arising in the epithelial tissue of the skin or into the internal lining or internal organs prostate in the male. So this type of cancer is known as carcinoma. The next one, to treat the breast cancer in postmenopausal women. So again, therapeutic application of estrogen in menopausal syndrome as well as in the to treat the breast cancers in the postmenopausal women. Postmenopausal women means they are undergone to the menopause, that is ceases of the menstrual cycle. Then next, to treat the functional uterine bleeding and endometriosis. Then to treat dysmenorrhea, an oral contraceptive with progesterone. What is meant by oral contraceptive? I think you are already studied in health education first year, oral contraceptive.
Prevent pregnancy, conception.
So oral contraceptive are the birth control pills, and they are hormone containing medication and they're taken by mouth to avoid the conception or to prevent the pregnancy. So for such condition, this estrogen is also used. Then to treat the dysmenorrhea condition. What is meant by dysmenorrhea?
Painful menstruation.
Okay, so to treat the dysmenorrhea condition, this estrogen, synthetic estrogen or natural estrogens are used. Then next, to treat the functional uterine bleeding from the uterus and also endometriosis. Endometriosis means it is a condition which is resulting from an appearance of endometrial tissue outside the uterus and they causing an pain during the menstruation. So in such a condition, again the synthetic estrogen is helpful. So these are the therapeutic applications of synthetic estrogen. The next point, do you understand applications of estrogen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
The next point is contraindications. Where it is contraindicated, in which condition estrogens are contraindicated. Roll number 35. Are you present?
Yes, ma'am.
Read the contraindications.
Estrogen are contraindicated in the following clinical condition: premenopause, carcinomas of a breast and uterus, hypertension and thromboembolic disease, undiagnosed genetical bleeding, renal and hepatic disease.
Sound is audible to all?
Yes, madam.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
contraindication, estrogens are contraindicated. Synthetically prepared estrogen is contraindicated in clinical conditions such as first one is premenopausal carcinoma of breast and uterus. So in which uterus it is an hollow muscular organ which is located into the female pelvis in between the bladder and the rectum. So premenopausal means before the menopause or before undergoing to the menopause. So it is contraindicated in premenopausal carcinomas of breast and the uterus. Then next it is contraindicated in hypertension condition. Also it is contraindicated in thromboembolic disease. What is meant by thromboembolic disease? Thromboembolism. This disorder we discussed in drugs acting on CVS. I think in side effect or maybe in uses. So what is meant by thromboembolic disease? Thrombosis.
Clot, blood, obstruction of blood vessels due to
Okay, so
clot formation.
thromboembolism, it is a medical term. It is used to describe the blood clot. So blood clot formation is occur that disorder or there is blood clot that forms any blood vessel or this break looses and it is carried out the blood stream to block the another blood vessel. Because of formation of blood clot, they block the blood flow. So in such a condition again synthetic estrogens are contraindicated. Then next one is undiagnosed genital bleeding. If there is genital bleeding which is undiagnosed means vaginal bleeding, it is other than the menstruation. So such type of the undiagnosed genital bleeding. In such a condition, estrogen is contraindicated. Then next and last one contraindication, renal and hepatic disease. In such a condition, synthetic estrogens are contraindicated. Natural estrogens means they are produced into the, they are secreted into the female reproductive system. So that's why there is contraindication for the synthetically given जे ऍडमिनिस्ट्रेट केले जातात इस्ट्रोजनच्या इस्ट्राडोल जे पिल्स आहेत oral contraceptive or estrogen medicament or preparation estradiol estrone estriol, so they are prepared or they are produced from the natural or main estrogen. त्याच्यापासून synthetically estrogen जे prepare केले जातात that preparations contraindicated in such a condition and therapeutic application we discussed before the contraindication. So the synthetic estrogen also therapeutically applicable in following disorders. The next point, side effects, nausea, vomiting, breast tenderness, salt and water retention. It causes weight gain, edema, cardiac failure. What is mean by edema?
Swelling of tissue.
Why swelling is occurred?
Fluid accumulation was very
Fluid accumulation.
Roll number 62, 63, are you present?
Yes, ma'am.
63. What is mean by edema? What happened in this disorder? (62) and 63. Are you present?
Yes, ma'am.
What is mean by edema? I think this disorder we are already discussed in anti-gout agent or anti-rheumatic agent. का edema means, and also previous lecture मध्ये झालं edema of feet. EFEET feet. Go said, what is mean by edema?
Swelling of tissues.
Repeat again.
Swelling of tissues.
Because of की फक्त स्वेलिंगच होतं. Why it is occur?
Fluid retention किंवा accumulation.
Fluid accumulation होते.
एक इमेज दाखवलेली in between the joint. Accumulation of fluids occur, and if there is excessive accumulation, then it get irritated to this joint in between the portion आहे, and then it leads to swelling. Then next, so side effects of synthetic estrogen or estrogen such as nausea and vomiting, breast tenderness, that is breast pain. It is also known as mastalgia. Then next, salt and water retention, that is electrolyte retention, and it causes weight gain. And edema and cardiac failure. Cardiac failure माहिती है?
Heart failure.
Heart failure. Weight gain means increase or decrease weight.
Increase.
Side effects. So weight gain, it means increase in body weight or decrease in body weight.
Increase in body.
Increase in
The next point is preparations. Naturally occurring estrogen, semi-synthetic steroidal estrogen, and synthetic non-steroidal estrogen. So preparation given into the three types: naturally occurring, semi-synthetically steroidal, and semi-synthetically non-steroidal. Means by use of natural estrogen, this semi-synthetic, synthetic medicaments are prepared, medicines or preparations are prepared. (45), are you present?
Yes, ma'am.
Read the preparations of estrogen.
Preparation naturally occurring osteoidal 17 to 1.5 umg IM, semi-synthetic oestrogen. Second, ethinyl estridiol 0.05 to 0.5 orally, mestranol 0.1 to 2.0 mg orally, quinastrol 0.05 to 0.1 mg orally.
Next, semi-synthetic non-steroidal estrogen.
Semi-synthetic
45
steroidal estrogen
Non-steroidal,
benzosterol
non-steroidal.
0.2 0.2 mg/2
Screen is visible to all.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Last, semi-synthetic non-steroidal estrogen, in which benzoestrol and hexoestrol means estrogenचे सेमी सिंथेटिकली किंवा सिंथेटिकली प्रिपरेशन्स बनवले जातात and then they are used to treat such disorders. या डिसऑर्डर ट्रीट करण्यासाठी ते यूज केले जातात. So in which first one, naturally occurring estrogen, estradiol 17.22 1.5 mg IM, then semi-synthetic steroidal estrogen means these preparations are available in tablet form, solid dosage form, tablet मध्ये available असतात, but they are given by which route?
Oral.
Oral.
Orally.
Semi-synthetic steroidal estrogen, in which first one is कोणते preparation first?
Ethinyl estradiol 0.05 to 0.1.
Roll number 50, are you present?
Yes, madam.
Read the preparations loudly.
Preparations. Naturally occurring estrogen. Estradiol 17 to 0.22 to 1.5 mg. Then semi-synthetic steroidal estrogen. Ethinyl estradiol 0.05 to 0.1 mg orally. Then mestranol 0.1 to 0.2 mg orally. Then coinstrol 0.05 to 0.1 mg orally.
Next, semi-synthetic non-steroidal.
Benzoestrol 0.2 mg to 1 mg orally. Then hexoestrol 3 mg to 6 mg orally.
Means preparations, they are given in semi-synthetic non-steroidal estrogen, semi-synthetic steroidal estrogen, and naturally occurring estrogen in the three forms. Okay. So here we complete female sex hormones, in which first one is estrogen, natural estrogen and synthetic estrogen, their therapeutic applications, contraindications, side effect, and preparation. All of you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Female
ma'am.
reproductive system having the two secretions such as progesterone and estrogen. So here we complete estrogen hormone. Any doubt related to this?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay, then let's see the next hormone. Then progesterone. Screen is visible to all.
Yes, madam.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Natural progesterone, again we have to discuss same point, natural progesterone and synthetic progesterone. Then there are definition, synthesis, and pharmacological action, as well as therapeutic uses and contraindication, and lastly preparation. So firstly, natural progesterone. Progesterone is a steroid derivative. Pregnine is the natural progesterone. Progesterone. So progesterone, it is an steroid derivative. Steroid means Steroidal, non-steroidal. So what is mean by steroid? Any idea? Steroidal means what? Okay, synthetic progesterone. हे स्टिरॉइडल हार्मोन आहे असं म्हणलं तर चालेल का? Synthetic progesterone or synthetic estrogen, they are steroidal or non-steroidal? Do you know difference in between steroidal and non-steroids? माहिती आहे का? Yes or no? Sound is audible to all?
Yes, ma'am.
काय difference is steroidal and non-steroidal? Natural progesterone, it is an a steroid derivative. Steroid means, okay, if we can say synthetic progesterone is an a steroidal, is it right? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Synthetic progesterone,
No, ma'am.
it is a steroid
No,
derivative.
no, ma'am.
No,
No,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Progesterone is a steroidal derivative.
Steroid means man-made. They are secreted in human body. So that's why it is a steroid derivative. Synthetic secret केले जातात का? Synthetically, name indicate itself. Synthetically, semi-synthetically means they are related to artificially. Steroidal means they are man-made versions of chemicals. That is, they are known as, these hormones are known as steroids. Man-made means they are secreted into the human body. That's why they are steroid derivative. And they are naturally present in the human body or secreted into the human body. And they are the steroids or the hormones. They act like these hormones, reduces their inflammation or perform their functions in the body. Steroid means man-made version of chemicals, or they are already present in the body, while non-steroidal means they are synthetically prepared. Now, did you get difference in between steroidal derivative and non-steroidal derivative? Why progesterone it is an steroidal derivative and why synthetic progesterone is not steroid derivative? समजले?
Yes, ma'am.
So progesterone it is an steroid derivative. Pregnant is the natural progesterone. Pregnant is the natural progesterone. Then it is synthesized in ovary, testes, placenta, and adrenals. So in adrenal gland, it is also synthesized. Natural progesterone. Natural progesterone, it is synthesized in both reproductive system, female reproductive system as well as male reproductive system. And the main differentiate organ in the male reproductive system is testosterone, and in female reproductive system is estrogen. But the same secretion in both the system, either they are secreted in small proportion but having the same secretion such as progesterone in both the reproductive system. हे माहिती असेल already? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Then the progesterone synthesis mainly occur in corpus luteum. काय आहे corpus luteum? Corpus luteum, it is part of which reproductive system, or it is connected to which main
Female
organ?
reproductive system.
Female reproductive
So
system.
corpus luteum, it is a mass of cell and that forms an ovary. corpus luteum, it is a mass of cell and that forms an ovary and it is responsible for the production of hormone such as progesterone during the early pregnancy. So the role of corpus luteum, it is depend on the whether or not fertilization is occurred. The progesterone synthesis is mainly occur in the corpus luteum. It has very short plasma half-life, that is 5 minutes. Then next point is it is rapidly metabolized in the liver and excreted through urine and as a sulfate and glucuronide conjugation, means it is about metabolism phase, second phase, first, that is glucuronide conjugation through it is metabolized into the liver and excreted in the form of urine. Roll number 55, are you present?
Yes, madam.
Read the slide.
Progesterone, natural progesterone. Progesterone is a stored derivative. Pregnenolone is a natural progesterone. It is synthesized in over testes, plant, placenta, and adrenals. The, the progesterone synthesis mainly occurs in corpus luteum. It has very short plasma half-life of 5 minutes. It is rapidly metabol metabolized by liver, is excreted through urine as sulfate and glucuronide conjugates.
Okay, sound is audible to all.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
The adrenal gland, where is the location of adrenal gland?
Upper side of kidney.
Okay, so adrenal gland and testes in the males produces progesterone and progesterone level in the males are similar to those of the females in the follicular phase of menstrual cycle. There are different phases in the menstrual cycle. So this production or synthesis of the progesterone hormone in the male, this phase, its progesterone level in the males are similar to the females in the follicular phase of menstrual cycle when egg follicle on the ovary is preparing to release an egg. So the main site of progesterone synthesis in the female during the pregnancy in corpus luteum during the first trimester and placenta during the second and third trimester, means in female, progesterone is synthesized or secreted in the corpus luteum during the first trimester of the pregnancy and it is secreted in the placenta during the second and third trimester of the pregnancy. So this is about synthesis of natural progesterone. The next point, pharmacological action. Roll number 12, are you present?
Yes,
Sound is
ma'am.
audible to all.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, roll number 12, read the pharmacological action.
Yes, ma'am. Pharmacological action. Progesterone induces secretory phase in the endometrium. Second point, if ovum is not fertilized, the secretion of progesterone is inhibited, which is responsible for onset of menstruation. Third point, if ovum is fertilized, progesterone prepares the endometrium for implantation. Fourth point, progesterone develops breast for lactation. Fifth point, it makes uterus less sensitive to oxytocin, synthetic progesterone.
The next point is pharmacological actions, in which first one, progesterone produces secretory phase in the endometrium. So as you know, endometrium, it is a mucous membrane lining in the uterus and which thickens or thickness during the menstrual cycle. So this mucous membrane lining in the uterus, it is endometrium. So this progesterone produces secretory phase to this endometrium. Then about ovum. If ovum is not fertilized, ovum, that is a single released form into the female reproductive system, that is ovum. So if ovum is not fertilized and the secretion of progesterone is inhibited, if there is ovum is not fertilized, then secretion of progesterone in reproductive system is inhibited, and this inhibited secretion is responsible for the onset of menstruation. Then next, if ovum is fertilized, then progesterone prepare a endometrium for implantation. If there is ovum is fertilized, then progesterone prepared endometrium for implantation. Implantation means it is stage of human reproduction at the embryo adheres to the wall of uterus. So where embryo at this stage, that is prenatal development, used to be occurred. That is, it is also known as blastocyst. So in this stage, if ovum is fertilized, then progesterone prepare endometrium for implantation. That is for reproduction at which the embryo adheres to the wall of uterus. And if ovum is not fertilized, then secretion of progesterone is inhibited. If fertilized, then implantation is occurred. Then next, progesterone develop the breast for lactation. It makes uterus less sensitive to oxytocin. So uterus, it is a hollow muscular organ. It is located into the female pelvis between the bladder and rectum. And this progesterone hormone, natural progesterone, it makes uterus less sensitive to oxytocin. Oxytocin, it is a peptide hormone. Naturally, it is produced into the hypothalamus and it is released by posterior pituitary. And their role in the reproduction, childbirth, and period after the childbirth. So, this progesterone hormone makes uterus less sensitive to this peptide hormone, which is responsible for childbirth. म्हणजे ऑक्सिटोसिनच्या ज्या ऍक्शन्स आहेत त्याचा जो अफेक्ट होणार आहे युटेरस वरती, that effect is inhibited or uterus make less sensitive to this oxytocin hormone. So this is function of natural progesterone to make the uterus less sensitive to the response of oxytocin. The next point is synthetic progesterone. हे point समजलेत सगळे?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Synthetic progesterone are classified into mainly 3 groups. First one is progesterone derivative, second one testosterone derivative, and 19 non-testosterone derivative. So synthetic progesterone, they are classified into how many classes or how many examples in the synthetic progesterone?
3.
Classes.
Which?
Progesterone derivative.
Progesterone derivative, testosterone derivative,
Testosterone
derivative,
derivative,
and non-testosterone
derivative.
So first one is progesterone derivative, testosterone derivative, 19 non-testosterone derivatives. The next point is therapeutic uses. Mainly progesterone is used as the oral contraceptive. As you know, The oral contraceptive means they prevent the or they are used for the birth control. Then second is as a diagnostic to the test of estrogen secretion. To diagnose the estrogen secretion, either it is properly or not. So for this diagnostic estrogen secretion, this progesterone is useful or applicable. So these are the therapeutic uses of natural synthetic progesterone. Then next one is contraindications. '68. Are you present? Roll number 68. Sound is audible to all?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
68, 69. Are you present?
Yes, ma'am.
Read the contraindications.
Contraindication. First, may increase blood pressure in female, reversing progesterone. Second, may cause arthritis.
Progesterone is contraindicated in the following condition in which it may cause atherosclerosis. So that's why it is contraindicated. What is atherosclerosis?
Accumulation of cholesterol.
What is meant by atherosclerosis? Lipid lowering agent. I think in this chapter, firstly we discuss atherosclerosis disorder, and after that we start anti-hyperlipidemic agent. Yes or no? Do you remember?
Ma'am.
What is meant by atherosclerosis?
Hardening of blood vessels.
Because of
Hyperlipidemia.
what is your roll number?
25.
Okay. So it is correct one, atherosclerosis because of high level of fat, cholesterol or other substances. Then there is widening or hardening of artery walls or blood vessels occur. Then first one is may increases blood pressure in females receiving progestins. While females receiving the progestin, then it may increases the blood pressure. Increasing blood pressure, it is termed as which term is used?
Hypertension.
White side.
Hypertension.
Okay, so that's why it is contraindicated. The next point, next and the last point, preparations. First preparation, norethindrone, and second one is norgestrel. Norethindrone, dose
0.5.
0.5 mg, and norgestrel
0.05 mg.
0.05.
This is about natural progesterone. And it is progesterone generally used as an oral contraceptive. Here we complete in the hormone, female sex hormone. Female reproductive system secrete or synthesize two hormones, progesterone and estrogen. In which estrogen, it is a major hormone which is responsible for the fertilization process, and progesterone, it is released synthesized in pregnancy trimester, either it is in the first trimester or second or third trimester. So this is about female sex hormones. Remaining points we will discuss in the next lecture. Any doubt related